Do you have a social life outside of nursing school? Great question. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa if you guys are new here. Today I'm going to be doing a little advice recap of my first semester at nursing school. Also do a little Q&A at the end. I asked all my Q&A questions on both my Instagrams. I have like a nursing specific / fitness one, and then I have my personal Instagram. So I combined a couple of those. So those are always linked down below, but basically I have them typed out on my laptop right here. And I wanted to share my experiences so far, how I'm liking it, and I also want to give some advice to any students who might be just going into nursing school, also in nursing school. And just for some background, I do make other videos other than nursing. This is just a season of my life that I am in right now, and I do plan on making more, like different vlogs and all that type of stuff. For background, the type of program that I'm in a practical nursing program. It is an accelerated program. It's 9 or 10 months from September to June is the program. I go to school 5 days a week and I have clinical 2 out of those days this past month. That will change next week, but I wanted to do this at the end of the term. Also forgot to mention this was my first semester doing clinical too. So I'm going to be covering clinical, all of that stuff. First, some advice. The best advice that I can give off the bat for studying in any type of college: learn your learning style. If you don't know how you learn, if you learn by visual, kinesthetics, touching something, I'm auditory. If you guys watch my vlogs, you probably are sick of me saying this. So if a teacher says something in class and I hear it, I'm gonna know it. Maybe if you're a visual learner, you see a graph or you see a printout or you need to read things or write things, then that's how the information sticks with you. I will leave a test down below to figure out what your learning style is. It will help you so much. What I do as an auditory learner is I do my whole study guide, I write it all out, I do everything, and then I go back and I use my voice memos on my phone. I record me saying the study guide, saying the answers as like a sentence, and then I listen to it right before I go to bed and in the car ride in the morning, so it sticks in my brain a little bit more. When you get assigned something or you get your syllabus for the year, be proactive. Please, please, please. Be proactive. Write down every single test you're going to have, every single assignment, all your clinical placements, literally everything, and be proactive as possible. You are not going to be able to cram 4 chapters of fundamentals information overnight. It doesn't happen. Print your syllabus, print out your PowerPoints, read the chapters before you go to class. You're going to read it the night before, then you're going to see it in class and you're going to take notes on it, and you're going to get more information from your professor. Then you're going to go home and you're going to review it or rewrite it, however you learn. Then you're going to do your flashcards, your Quizlets, you're going to do the audio recording, then you're going to hear it again, and then you're going to leave that information. Then a couple weeks later or a week later, you have an exam. Wow, you're going to see it for the 4th or 5th time, studying again for the exam for multiple hours. And then you get to the test and you're going to get there and be like, wow, I know this information. And the thing is with nursing school, you don't just need to know the information for the test. You need to know the information so that you don't mess up at clinical. So you are doing the proper procedures and the proper care for your patients. Do yourself a favor and prep. Always be a day or 2 or a week ahead of schedule, so when you're seeing the information, it's not the first time and you're like, wait, I'm so confused. Or you come to class with a question and be like, hey, I read this last night, I have a question, can you please clarify this? Or can you elaborate on why this is this instead of this? Stuff like that. And also, at the beginning of this semester or trimester, my program's a trimester, when you take that first test, do not think that you need to just, oh, I'll be fine. Oh, I'll be fine. No. Build up a cushion in the beginning of the semester because you're going to only have X amount of tests or exams or quizzes or evaluations that semester. Start getting the highest amount of grades possible so that at the end of the semester, you're not wondering if you're going to make that 78 cutoff and have to retake the semester, or in my case, you would be dropped out of the program. Build yourself a cushion because you will thank yourself later. This might seem so simple. Ask your professor questions. They are the best resources that you have. They're the one making the tests. In my case, most of mine are my clinical instructors. They're gonna know what you need to know in clinical. Ask them for help. Ask to stay after class or go to their office hours. In school, they're nurses, so they'll tell you situations of, one time I had this patient that pertains to this chapter, and they tell you about the situations that they had and how they handled it, and you will use that, you'll put that in your memory bank and you'll be like, okay, so I remember that one time that professor whatever told me that, so now I'm going to remember that because it's associated with something else. Next, make a schedule. Time management is key. If you need to block out a calendar and you need to write out everything you need to do, then do it. Okay, these days I'm going to study for this. I looked at my whole week, usually on Saturday or Sunday. I would plan out what I would do for the next week. Okay, so on Monday I'm going to study for fundamentals because I have that exam on Thursday. Also, use your resources, your teachers, your ATI materials. You paid for it, use it. All of your books. End of chapter questions are key. End of chapter questions, because they are going to be the select all that apply questions that you're going to see on the test. And if your books comes with workbooks, I know a lot of the, I'm looking at my books right now, it's actually my tripod, the F.A. Davis and the Pearson books, they come with workbooks. If you're able to purchase those, purchase them, because it's the same concepts that are going to be on the test, obviously not the same questions, but it's going to give you that feel of, okay, these are all select all that apply, these aren't. It gives you situation and scenarios that you need to react to. Now that I am done rambling, we're gonna head on to the Q&A. A question that I got that I was gonna address anyways is, do you ever doubt yourself? Whether it's at clinical, more at clinical than in class, I doubt myself all the time. My first week of clinical, we have it's Thursday, Friday was our clinical rotations. I kind of got a little startled by my first situation, and I was like, I feel so stupid and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't think I'm cut out for this. Like, I don't think I can do this. And then one of my good friends, she came in and saved the day with me. And she was like, Marissa, you're fine. You just handled that situation so well. Like, don't let that discourage you, because it was literally the first 30 minutes of clinical that I've ever experienced. Since we just finished up our last clinical rotation, I was very comfortable at the end of my clinical rotation, but the first couple weeks were really bumpy. Like, it was kind of difficult to get into the mindset of okay, I'm the student nurse now, I have to take care of people, and I'm not a CNA, I don't have any patient experience, so a lot of the people who are in this program are already CNAs and are used to the patient care aspect, where I was I don't know what I'm doing. I doubt myself all the time when I'm up studying and I'm so confused and so overwhelmed and anxious about stuff. Yeah, I definitely doubt myself, but I realize in the grand scheme of things, how much information I've learned from September to now is mind-blowing. And the fact that I'm going to be graduating in June, it's so worth it. Big picture, I'm so excited to become a nurse, and yes, I doubt myself practically a couple times a week, but I get through it, and it's just a little thought that I'm nope, I can do this. I can do this. Another question that I got was, what type of nursing are you interested in? So I actually volunteered at a local hospital in the maternity unit. I sat at the nurses station, kind of ringing people in and out as kind of a security thing. I really liked that. I thought it was amazing. I think the whole birthing process is great. Have I done my maternity rotation? No, that's going to be in the spring. I'll let you know how that goes. Also, we went into the schools. I went and I did vision and hearing tests on 1st through 5th grade, and I loved it. So maybe PD. I just did my long-term care, which is geriatrics basically. I don't know if I could do that for a long time. I give so much credit to people who are able to do long-term care. So I don't think that's where I'm leaning. I'm thinking more pediatrics or maternity, but I got time, so we shall see. Is it as hard as you thought it was going to be? I wouldn't say as hard. I would say it's different than what I thought. A lot of people glamorized it, and I kind of believed that it was I don't know. I'm so interested about what we're learning that it's easier to learn, if that makes sense. So yes and no. Okay, what is the best and worst thing about clinical? The best thing about clinical is actually applying the skills that you're learning. This is the first time that I've had the patient care experience, and what I am learning is being directly applied to what I am doing. First time you do things, it's gonna be wicked intimidating, but it's the best thing when you do it and you're I know how to do this because I was taught a week or two ago how to do it, and now I'm doing it. The worst thing about clinical is probably the paperwork, but the paperwork makes sense of why we're doing it, because we need to document, we need to learn about all the drugs, we need to do all of that patient aspect, because a lot of nursing is documentation. I wouldn't say it's the worst. I think the worst thing about clinical is saying goodbye to the patients that you've made a great rapport with and that you are genuinely going to miss. You're not supposed to like get that attached, but when you're with someone for 3 months and then you're like, oh, I have to go to my next rotation, it's kind of hard to say goodbye to them. Do you have a social life outside of nursing school? Great question. Not really. I could have more of a social life if I didn't put academics first so much. I live at home. All of my friends live at college. So most of my friends are not near me. I see friends when they come home for Thanksgiving break, like 2 weeks ago, but other than that, I haven't really seen any of my college friends because they're at college. I have a social life with my nursing school friends. We are a cohort of 27 people, so we have become very close. It's all girls, or all women. I'm like one of the youngest actually. And we have a great relationship with everybody. We go out to dinner sometimes, or breakfast, depends on the time, after clinical or meetings or class or whatever. I don't really have a social life as in like going out. The only time I went out was during Thanksgiving break when all my friends were home. So you can have a social life in nursing school if you prioritize. If you go to like a quote-unquote regular college, you will have a social life. You'll be fine. But just prioritize and get all of your stuff done and then go out and then have a social life. I also prioritize like hanging out with my family. Like my brother still lives at home. I live at home with my parents. I prioritize that. If I was still at my original college, I would have a social life. I know I would, but I don't have the time to be running all over to all my friends' colleges and visiting them. Like I just had to prioritize this for the next 10 months and then I can have a social life again. Last question, how do you stay motivated and don't want to give up? I stay motivated by knowing that what I am doing, I'm doing it for a purpose. Staying motivated is difficult. I don't think it's motivation that's got me this far. I think it's self-discipline, because I know that I can see the big picture, and at the end in June, I'm gonna be sitting for my NCLEX, or graduating, then sitting for my NCLEX, and knowing that I'm going to be helping people. This is temporary what you're going through, and you will come out on the other side graduated with your degree and be able to start helping people. And the not wanting to give up, going back to doubting yourself, I doubt myself, but it's never been enough where I know that I'm physically capable of completing the program and I know that I am academically capable. So those negative thoughts of doubting yourself or wanting to give up kind of get pushed aside, because I'm like, no, I can do this. Like, hell yeah, I can do this. That's all the questions that I'm going to answer. That's all the advice that I'm going to give. This is going to be a long one. Oh god. So if you stayed this long, I really appreciate it. Comment down below any more questions. I will just comment directly back to you, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I post videos every Sunday at 10 a.m. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you in my next video.